Welcome to my homeless documentary. This is Grand Train. Hey, how are ya? It is after 2 in New York City, and presently I am chilling at Old Penn Station just to give you a view there. And here we are on December the 7th, I believe, and it's another day in New York. It's been a pretty cool day so far. Not really a whole lot of trouble or anything like that. Some guys were kind of acting a little weird earlier, so I changed positions, changed places, like Alice in Wonderland. I did that earlier, so as not to avoid some trouble possibly. So I've done that. Today, let's see. We're gonna go over a few things today. Yes, Penn Station now is located kind of around, let's see here, 8th Avenue, between 8th and 7th Avenue, and it is between 31st Avenue and 33rd Avenue. Madison Square Garden, of course, is right above Penn Station, and this is Old Penn Station behind me. They're actually doing things to it, and hopefully it's going to be something most interesting once they've got it all finished. They're doing construction on the side, and there's stuff going on inside as well. But now then, as I was coming to a point here, I hang out around by Penn Station because mainly because it is a good source for using the restroom. And when you are out on the street, one kind of essential necessity that you need to keep in mind when you're setting up kind of a base of where you're going to be around is that you got to have a place you can use the restroom, and it's really essential. You don't want to have an accident or anything like that if you can possibly help it. So I highly advise you to anyone who does street it a bit, try to keep yourself close to a bathroom. Mass transit, the train areas, definitely seem to work for as far as that goes, as far as having some type of access to that. You're allowed to have access to a restroom. It's really essential. I can't stress it enough. Even here in New York, I've been playing this game with you guys, where's the public restroom? And I would like to say, where in fact is the public restroom? This is kind of a big thing here, and I am going to play this out this month actually, and I think you will find my answer to this question most interesting. But anyways, you want to keep your central base of operations really close to something that's highly public and it's got a restroom that they will let you use. Here in New York, I have chosen Penn Station. While there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of people, there's a restroom that's available that they let you use. They don't say anything about it, so it's perfectly okay to do that. So that's kind of why my staging grounds, as I am building my new life here in New York, has been close to being around Penn Station. I do go out and get around a little bit on occasion. If I happen to have a little money or some cash, I might head up to Times Square, which is actually north of me. Times Square is on 42nd Street, and it is all kinds of stuff going up there. And of course, the New Year's Eve, I'm going to be there this year for the first time ever, which I'm really looking forward to. That I've wanted to do this for a long time, so I'm really looking forward to that event. Should be interesting. But and then sometimes I had actually southways to the center, which is a GLBTQ place. It was actually the first place I looked up online for New York City. It's a resource center. Another thing that you'll want to know about is that if you don't have a phone, you can kind of get away without having a phone for a little while, but not very long. It's important that somehow you get a phone so you can make connections, especially if you need to contact anybody important, say like a doctor or people at home. Now in New York City at Penn Station, there is a resource you can use at the station. They have a department in the station. It's called BRC, and it's an Amtrak outreach station actually. And what they do is they reach out to people who are in need of shelter or food or anything like that here in this local area. But one service which is pretty nice about them, and they were kind enough to do this, they are kind enough to do this, is to let you use their phone if you need to make a phone call. I did have to make a phone call a few times, and they said, yeah, it's all right, it's perfectly all right if you use our phone, you just can't talk on it forever, you know, but they do let you utilize the phone. That's one thing I like about, and as I was touching on earlier, the center actually, which is located on 13th Street, between trying to think, I believe it's between 7th and 8th Avenue, also is they let you use their phone there as well. Really nice people there. They also have computer access at the center, and just for if you happen to have $3 and you want unlimited time at the computer, it's kind of worth the pay for getting some time on the computer, especially if you got a day where you got to do a lot of work on the computer and you don't have one of your own. I definitely advise going to the center versus the New York Public Library, whereas the New York Public Library is free, however they only give you an hour, and the most you're going to get for an extension at the New York Public Library is about 15 minutes. So if you got a day where you're doing a lot of work online, you got to do a lot of work online, you need to research stuff or whatnot, then I definitely advise the center. And their computer services, it's only $3 and you get unlimited time. Hey man, that's pretty cool actually for $3. It's not bad, so I definitely recommend that. I have eaten today. My eating has not been so poor for the most part, but typically during the week my eating tends to be more towards the morning area, because that's where a lot of the places that I can get to have services actually. And I will cover these bases again. St. Francis of Assisi, which is actually just right up the street from me on 31st. If you go to the corner of 7th and 31st and just make a left and head east on 31st, you're gonna walk right by their church. And every morning the line starts around 6 a.m. People are lining up for you get a sack, kind of like a sack meal for free, and they give you free coffee, they give you free oatmeal, and it's a service they just provide to the homeless community out of their own generosity. It's really cool, and on a morning I am in need of that, or I gotta have food in the belly, you know what I mean, then I am hitting that up in the morning actually. And what they do is people line up in the morning, and the line a lot of times will extend around the corner. It helps to get there kind of early. I usually leave for it at about 6:30 in the morning and get there not long after that. But around about 1:45, a guy will come out and pass out meal tickets, and he'll give you a ticket, and you take the ticket and you just hang on to it, don't lose it. And once they start ringing the church bells at 7 a.m., then it's time, man, for that morning meal. So all you got to do is the line just pops in, you drop your meal ticket in the bucket, and you got yourself a free meal in the morning, which is pretty cool. Now then you go a few hours later, and about 3.5 hours after that, Holy Apostles Church actually on 28th and 9th does a brunch for the homeless community, and the time frame for that is a little bit longer. You're not going to get as much time at St. Francis Assisi. It's kind of a quick morning deal there. But if you go to Holy Apostles for brunch, then the lineup, they let people in at 10:30, but people line up early for that too as well, maybe starting as early as 9 o'clock even in the morning. But a lot of times what I do is I just wait till about 10:30 a.m. or so, and I actually walk down there, because by the time I get there, the line has basically kind of popped in, so I can just kind of breeze in a little bit. But they serve brunch from 10:30. I think it's till noon or 12:30. I would say 12:30 the latest. Don't quote me on that, but it's at least till noon, I believe. And there you can get a hot meal actually for a brunch, which is pretty cool. And they do it every day except on the weekends, I believe, Saturday and Sundays. If I can get confirmation of that information, I will present it in a future video, but I know they do it Monday through Friday. I know definitely they don't do it on Sunday, because I showed up on a Sunday one time and they weren't there. So and I'll double check on Saturday, but just to be sure, at least Monday through Friday you can get a good hot meal there from 10:30 to like 12:30. So and same thing again, they give you a meal ticket, and you just go inside, give them your meal ticket, and boom, you got a free hot meal, man. It's pretty cool, and it doesn't cost you anything at all. So for those of you in need, they also provide drinks as well. They serve hot tea, milk at your table. They put a picture of milk at the table. There's sugar, so you can put some sugar in your tea and some milk if you still like. I like the milk and sugar myself, so I think it tastes pretty good. And I like my tea kind of sweet, so but that's just another service that you can utilize as far as if you are in need of some food. Now, one thing I'll tip you off to actually is that at Penn Station between around 10 and 10:30 a.m. in the morning, also there is another group actually that goes by and hands out some free food to homeless people. So far I have caught them in the morning between 10 a.m. and 10:30, and they will hand out a sack lunch to you. They just kind of like, they're walking around the neighborhood actually delivering food, making sure people have eaten. So that's another thing you can utilize. I am not certain what it is called at this point. I will take a moment and ask them next time I see them. Excuse me. But that is another service you can kind of keep an eye out for if you're around the Penn Station area between 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. in the morning. As far as I know, Monday through Friday at least. So that's something to keep an eye out for as well. Now then, if you go to Holy Apostles Church for brunch, they have, I believe it's the social services or some type of public service there that can help. They can give you you can get like a free toothbrush, some toothpaste and stuff like that, some soap, kind of like hygiene stuff, And also, you can get a free voucher for a haircut at the American Barbers Institute. And I did that yesterday actually, and got my haircut, and I got a trim down here. As you can see, I'm all cleaned up now. A guy took care of me down there. It was all free, It's just a service that's offered to people who are in need, And that was really cool, and I was really happy with that service. So I may utilize it again in the future until my income is more or less streaming in more than what it is right now, and at a higher amount. So my kind of preference on services is that I tend to utilize services that are for the community, that are free, when I am not doing so well financially. And the thing is that I don't make as much financially right now. So when I'm low on cash, or I got no money, then I'm utilizing these services. But if I got cash or something, or I actually have some income, something going on in my pocket, then I try to make sure that I'm utilizing other services, because I think it's just a bit more. I think it's a bit nicer to make sure that people in need are getting what it is that they need, versus I've got a bunch of money in my pocket, but I'm still getting free services. It doesn't kind of coincide. So I try to make sure that if I've got some cash in my pocket, that I'm utilizing some other services that are a bit more. That are more pay, so that way I'm not taking up someone's spot, that might be in need of some services if they're in a situation. That's just kind of how I go about it. It's just my own personal integrity there as far as that goes. So I am really low on cash this month, so because I had to invest and do some things, I bought this phone. This phone has been really amazing. I'm really happy with it. It's my LG phone. And I'll touch a bit on why I plug certain products or people or things like that. And it's not because I'm necessarily looking for a free handout, but it's because I believe in it. And when I believe in something that has done good for me, because I made the choice to use this or be a part of it, then I share that information with other people. I talk about it. I plug it. I'm like, hey, why don't you try this, or check this out, or I'll inform you about it. It's about sharing and being informative, and spreading word and knowledge and stuff like that, because that's really helpful to other people, because you might pick up something one day that you heard about, and it works really well for you, and you know what, that's really cool. That's why we have spread the word, about certain things. So anyways, I am coming to a close to my video for today, and I am feeling particularly well today. I've been a bit coffee a little bit, but my throat's been kind of dry, and I haven't had a whole lot to drink. So, but the nice thing is that there's a drinking fountain actually at the Jersey Transit here at the Penn Station. So, I can just go in there and grab a quick drink if I'm really getting thirsty. And also, what's kind of nice about that, and something you might want to invest in, is a water bottle actually. And for free, you can just fill your water bottle up at the drinking fountain and keep it with you during the day, kind of a survival tactic, just in case you're starting to get a little dehydrated. You got some backup there for you. I want to also touch a little bit of, I'm going to touch upon a subject today right before I go, and that is food, and where you are buying food that is cost effective and healthy and going to be good for your pocket, great for your pocket even. I'm going to touch on a few places actually. When you are low income, but you are still out there buying food, good places to go to get food. And I'm going to tell you, one of my number one spots is, and I don't know if anybody can guess this one, but actually it's Starbucks. Yes, Starbucks. Starbucks offers some really low priced, interesting, healthy foodstuffs at their locations. Like, you might pay and some people don't eat a lot, so this is even better actually. Like me myself, sometimes I'm eating a lot, but I'm eating small meals throughout the day. So it's like, I want the best bang for my buck, and I want to like the taste, I want it to be healthy. You're kind of going for a combination of things when it comes to food and trying to stay healthy. I can go to Starbucks in the morning and get a scone for $2.75. And you know what? That is a bread-like food, which is going to actually be a little bit more filling anyways, and it's sweet, it tastes good, and you're filled up for maybe a few hours or so. So it's really awesome actually. And I love a Starbucks Frappuccino. Frappuccinos are my favorite. I spoke of a Frappuccino tattoo, and yes, I do have it. It's on my right shoulder, and I'm going to do a big reveal on that one possibly next week. But anyways, I was focusing on food a little bit. Starbucks is a really excellent place to get some food if you don't have a lot of money, and their food is good. It's totally worth it. So if you see a Starbucks and you got maybe $5-8, you can go in there and get a coffee and a little something to munch on, and you have spent your money well there. Another place you can stop at actually is in New York City. We have food vendors, which is really amazing, and that's another thing. If you need a little munch or snack, and you kind of want something to drink with it, like some coffee. And I think I had mentioned this before actually, the coffee vendors get up in the morning and they're out there at between 5 and 6 a.m. selling their wares, and you're spending $2 for a small coffee and a donut that tastes spectacular. So please, those are just some services you can use. Those are just some things you can utilize if you're spending some money. Also, it doesn't hurt actually to check out some local stores. Duane Reade actually by Walgreens, I've noticed, offers some pretty sweet deals on drinks. And I picked up some pop actually at Duane Reade for a really low price, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. And it's not even it wasn't even a special. It's just they're just selling it for that price. And I haven't even spent $2, and I got this huge pop. And I'm like, yeah, it's pop, I know. And some people talk down about pop, but you know what? If you're staying active in your life, it's not so hard actually to have some of those things. So, but one thing you can definitely count on there is getting a decent price for a drink. So that's kind of a plus, definitely. I'll touch more on food later, but I just had to mention Starbucks, and I've been a pretty big Starbucks fan for a while, but this kind of makes it more of an even more of a special treat, because they're offering such decent prices for really fine food that's healthy and it tastes good, and you're not spending, a fortune for a ham and cheese croissant. It's really cool actually. But anyways, I'm gonna take off now. This has been another day of my homeless documentary. I'm gonna do more updates throughout the month, and starting next month, actually after New Year's, I will be doing not as many updates as my situation continues on. I don't know where my situation will be then, but being I'm still in a homeless situation by then, I will not be doing as many updates during the week actually, and I'm definitely going to be cutting weekends out. So mostly I will be doing updates during the week, and that's starting January 1st. But anyways, I hope everyone is doing well this holiday season, and if you've been feeling down or anything like that, just kind of like turn your smile up, man. It's okay, things do get down, and and that's you just kind of got to kick the negativity in the butt, and keep your chin up and hope for the best, and just keep walking, man. And if you got to take a break and sit down, then do it. It's okay. You got time. Make some time for you, and then make some time for others. This is Grand Terrain. Have a nice night.